What up, what up, what up? It's the Madman Assassin, Mr. Vaughn. And I got my guys with me. Daniel Lee, A. Larson, Hey Boogie. Another episode of That's What's Up. Continuing with our ongoing segments process. What did you call this whole little thing with the profiles? Game of Thrones character.
Game of Thrones character profile.
Okay, that works for me.
G.O.T.
With our Game of Thrones character profiles, this time, my man Kal Drogo. Rest in peace. It's sad that every one of these is about a dead character so far.
I mean, it's easier to... technically, in Game of Thrones, it's easier to cover the dead characters than the live characters.
It's true. It is true.
But this guy, more so than the others, had so much... I was just wanted to see more. And
again,
there was so much leading up to it and so much that I thought was promised.
It's another one of those things where we're introduced to him in the first season and we're like, okay, this is going to be a main character.
I mean, so far all of our character profiles have been pretty much season one.
Season one, dude, yeah.
And so far, I mean, each have died in with the most ironic, weird ways.
And that actually carries on. Of course, let's get this out of the way. Spoiler alert, because we're talking about the entire series here, even though he didn't make it past season one. But that was ironic. I was saying that to Aaron earlier about how some of the most dominant figures, whether it be Kal Drogo, who was such a physically dominant specimen, or somebody like Tywin, who was just such a manipulative. That's not the word.
They always just go out in the most.
Most random way. Kal gets an infection, and then he bites it, and fucking Tywin dies on the toilet.
Yeah, and how about Robert Baratheon? You know.
He gets killed in a hunting accident. Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
It almost makes you wonder. Is there some underlying message there? In regards to leadership.
Yeah,
the tougher you are, but the smallest thing ever to take.
The smallest thing
like
ever.
Like Kal Drogo, I thought was like, this is the hardest dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's so hard. I mean, when the first thing we're introduced to him, when he meets Dany, when Dany's presented to him, he just rolls up on horse, long braid, no shirt, cut, just buff, looks at her, okay, doesn't say a word and just leaves. Like, did they like her? Hey, if he didn't like her, we would have known.
We would have known.
He came out looking like, because that's why it was so funny when Jason Momoa was casted to be in the next Conan movie. I was like, man, you could not do any better. This dude is so
I felt
tough,
the same way.
Right?
I totally felt the same way.
I was like, finally, Conan's getting remade. It's remade right. And then like the first 5 minutes of that movie was epic.
Epic.
And then it turned into freaking Hercules, The Great Adventure.
It was horrible. Once again,
it was horrible. But what wasn't horrible was his portrayal of Kal Drogo on Game of Thrones. Let's watch this scene when he kills Viserys. First of all, we all saw this coming.
Yeah, he was
just doing too much.
You can't talk that reckless in a room full of killers.
He was doing too much.
He was doing way too much.
I mean, even the look in Daenerys' face is like, this is not going to end well for you.
Well, he really didn't have anything except his title.
Yeah, and he name alone.
And you got to realize, and this is what upsets me even more so now, after watching all of the series, is that Kal Drogo's whole empire operated on a completely different set of values than anyone else. Had these dudes made it over the water and actually
knew who he was
and attacked and tried to take over King's Landing, it would have been a completely different story, because these dudes live, breathe, eat, and shit warfare.
Yeah.
Like, they're the boutest people over in this area.
They're warriors in every sense of the word.
They have no reason to respect a Targaryen at all.
At all.
Your money is meaningless.
Exactly. What are you going to do? They probably would have melted the Iron Throne. They probably would have melted down the Iron Throne. Kal Drogo doesn't want to sit on a throne. He doesn't want to sit in the Red
Keep. On his horse.
Yeah, he wants to ride. Can you imagine him sitting? It just wouldn't have... Maybe it's best that he died. Yeah, well, he would have never...
They're like the Mongols.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, they would have ran from the White Walkers.
You think they would have...
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? There's not a sane person in Game of Thrones that doesn't run from a White Walker.
Jon Snow killed one.
Jon Snow killed one? No, it was...
Ghost!
What's his face?
It was Ghost.
One. Yeah,
his
but
wolf.
also, what's his face?
Sam, that's right.
Sam
killed one, that's right. Sam actually killed... Jon killed the White.
Yeah.
Sam killed the White Walker. That's true.
Right.
That is very true. But getting back to Kal Drogo, I mean, like I said, he's so badass. We're introduced this scene. What I mean, Viserys, what were you thinking?
Look at her. This is the look like. This is the last time I'm going to look at you, brother. She just gave him that look like I know that something.
This has to be done.
Something bad is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't even care. But how could she with the stuff he was spouting off?
I mean, you knew he was a piece of shit when he said, "I'll let 1,000 horse lords rape you if it means I get my fuck." I was like, "Wow, that's your sister, bro."
And I love that he melted down the necklace too. It's like this shows how little we care about your riches.
Yeah.
You know, you were dealing with savages.
I mean, Dan, you said it best, man. They live by a different code, man. They live by a different code.
I mean, this is back in the day when I still felt like he should have been Conan.
Like when they tried to kill his wife, and he found out, and he was like, "We were gonna rape them. We will destroy them." And I was like, "Okay, this is getting real. This is gonna happen." Had they made it over there, I have no doubt that they would have wiped everyone away.
I don't think so, personally.
I mean, here's the thing. The one flaw that we did see when one of the Dothraki tried to challenge Jorah was that they don't wear armor.
Yeah.
And that came into play huge. And if you have a talented swordsman,
Jorah made him look like nothing.
Say like Jorah or a Jaime or something like that.
Right, but once again, you know,
but that's a far thing between. They would definitely wreak havoc in King's Landing.
But the thing is, no more than the wildlings.
They're way more organized.
I think they're way more, and I think they're a bit tougher than the average wildling. I
mean, look at the wedding.
How cold it is over there.
Did you see the wedding?
I mean, the wedding was savage.
You know, I mean, come on. It's not a Dothraki wedding unless, what do you say, how many people die? You know?
I mean, that was the raw wedding. Bitch just getting fucked while motherfuckers was pulling bitches out the pussy. Just, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen, dog. Game of Thrones. That was in episode, what, 2? I was like, episode 2? God, this show has continually set the bar for insane shit.
There has been no better show.
I mean, and then this scene where he's challenging, I've said it before.
And he was
you come at the king,
too.
you bet not miss. You come at the king, you bet not miss. And he came at the king and he missed.
Honestly, you know what's kind of funny about this entire scene is it kind of reminds me of what was that show? Not like 1,000 Deaths or whatever. The one that Ron Perlman does the voice for.
Oh, 1,000 Ways to Die?
Yeah, 1,000 Ways to Die. and it was this one about this Viking who was a berserker, right? And he was fighting. He was just like, oh, into it. Cuts the guy's head off, right? He's swinging his head around with the braid and stuff. And then happens to swing the head and hits it off the dude's leg, right? Well, then his leg gets gangrene and the dude dies. You know? And it's like, out of the most random ways to die, right? You're like the toughest dude ever, and you get taken out by something.
And he gets an infection.
Yeah,
that is the epitome of Game of Thrones. I mean, you see, like when you see him do it, when the dude puts the blade on and he just cuts, like, what, motherfucker? This is nothing to me. This is a scratch. You're like, this dude is hard. This dude is hard. Not at all. That's real. That's what I like about the show, because that's exactly what would happen in real life.
No, you're right.
You want to play that tough guy? You may be that tough. You're not that tough. The little bacteria is still gonna fuck you up.
You're not tougher than gangrene.
You're not tougher than gangrene.
You know, and it sucks too, because he's just acting so tough. Like the moment he gets that cut, she's like, let's do something to fix it. And he's like, no, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's nothing. Don't
really?
worry about it. Really? Even when he's falling off of his horse, he's still like, it's nothing. No, I'm fine. I can still ride.
No, honey, I don't need to ask for directions.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly. I don't need to ask for directions.
I mean, he's so tough.
He's so. You know? I mean, he's so tough.
And he spouts off so much.
I mean, he's
so much.
But that's the thing about leadership, and that's what. And I'm sorry to say, that's what not Jon Snow, but his brother,
Robb
Stark. Well, that's what he was missing. He had none of that. In the end, it ended up killing. That was the reason. He was soft.
I agree. When it comes time to do our Robb Stark character profile, that is going to be. We might have to do another half hour on that, because that one is just filled with frustration and missed opportunities. For me.
Seriously, because I mean, he made the worst decisions.
But my man Carl, I mean, here we go, savagery at its
and then
best.
rip his tongue out his throat.
Through his throat.
Dude, that was better than the Patrick Swayze one.
Yes, yes. It had you remember in Rambo when he did it in Rambo?
Yeah.
It's up there with that. That's just as graphic. It's,
Nothing's more graphic than that because he had the dude's tongue in his mouth.
Well, what was more graphic was how what they did to one of my most favorite characters in Game of Thrones, which arguably we might have to do a segment on
we can do a segment on Oberyn, on the Red Viper. Oh my goodness.
Poor Oberyn.
Poor Oberyn.
You know?
Poor Oberyn. Apparently today was your day to die.
I mean, but honestly, like there were no better jokes than after Oberyn. Like, shouldn't you wear a helmet? Maybe you should have.
Tyrion.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, they did such a good job because they brought you up to that point. I mean, he was winning.
Yeah.
And winning
no, he won.
easily.
He won.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, in the last possible moment, they fucked you on it. And then, you know what? And I don't have a weak stomach, but that kind of made me sick when I saw that.
I mean, it was a cringeworthy moment. It was definitely a cringeworthy moment.
I mean,
And then...
But again, that'll take you back to Kal Drogo and say, you know, Kal Drogo against the Mountain. I'm sorry, I think the Mountain's reckoning.
I mean, here's the thing about it, because Kyle doesn't have the moves that he would have tried to muscle his way through it, even with that armor, and he would. It's rough. I think he might have. It's true.
I think the Mountain would have wrecked him.
It's true. You might be onto something with that.
And I mean, I think that alone kind of sets the tone difference between the two worlds. You know.
Yeah.
You have a savage world over here, and this is a completely different savagery that's chosen savagery.
Between Westeros and Essos, it is definitely like two worlds.
Yeah, because it's like savagery to survive versus savagery because we are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah, no, I look forward to seeing all of the Seven Kingdoms, and then in this next season we get to go to Dorne.
We get to go to Dorne.
You know,
yeah,
that's gonna be really cool
to
see
Dorne.
what we're in.
Here we go with the death of Kal Drogo. I mean, like I said, so anticlimactic. I mean,
really, he was basically a White Walker, right?
He was basically. I mean,
she had already brought him.
The infection had killed him. She brings him back.
He was brain dead.
But he was brain dead. I was like, man, what? This is like the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when Jack Nicholson gets lobotomized by the crazy nurse. This is the equivalent of that. After, I mean, the hardest dude ever. He's laying there.
This should have showed me
drooling
right
on a
here
pillow.
that he shouldn't have been Conan. Conan ain't going out like this.
You'd never catch Conan drooling on a pillow.
I have such a reverence for the original Conan movie. I could talk about the original Conan movie for an hour.
One of the when Dan and Mike Washington first met, that was one of the conversations that it got.
Was Conan? Conan is great. Conan, what is best in life? Pillage the women or see their lamentation? You know,
crush the women,
crush their enemies. You know, I mean,
the
Conan
people in the comment section are gonna have
great.
They're gonna have a field day with the fact that you guys couldn't remember that.
Hey. No. Crush their enemies, see them turn before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
There you go. Boom! Don't ever question us. That's why we're the fucking experts.
The problem is you speak about too much stuff at once.
There's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on.
And rumor has it Kal Drogo's going to be Aquaman.
Yeah.
And that's why you tune in to this show.
That'll be better than the last Conan movie.
Oh, I believe him as freaking Aquaman, because no offense to DC and everything, but Aquaman's like the bitch of DC. So I mean, hey, Kal Drogo,
give it a shot. You can't do any worse.
You know, but
you're gonna be tougher than the average one.
And you gotta get a better out than getting smothered with a pillow.
No, he's gonna drown. Aquaman drown.
I mean,
no, Prince Namor was way better for character.
I agree. I completely agree. Submariner,
yeah,
way better. He was tougher.
But what an
even with wings on his feet.
Yeah, it was way better.
What an end to an epic character for Kal Drogo.
Yeah, I mean, but it goes right back down to what we were saying earlier. I mean, he went out just like all the other poor souls
With a whisper.
that George R.R. Martin coon
For those of you who don't know who we're referencing, how could you not know?
Seriously.
Watch the fucking show. Well, that's it. That's the Crows, ladies and gentlemen, and the Howl of the Wolf.
And that's it for Kal Drogo.
And that's it for Kal Drogo. The wolf howls no more for him. Yo, you know how we do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for That's What's Up for all things. We got some more good shit coming up. Don't forget, we will be bringing you exclusive footage from PAX 14. Until next time, you guys want to say anything before we go?
I got nothing other than cool.
Bye, Kal Drogo.
We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.